Let's start with a feeling. A feeling I think you know well. It's that subtle, quiet pressure of needing to be good. We all feel it every single day. It's not, a fear of actual danger. It's that gnawing feeling in your gut when you cancel plans.
Because you might be seen as selfish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or that instant apology that just flies out of your mouth before you've even thought about it. Or, and this is a big one, biting your tongue when you are just furious. Because some voice inside insists that, well, good people don't explode.
And that feeling, that anxiety, that fear of being wrong, that's what we're really diving into.
It is.
Because here's the immediate challenge, the unsettling thought from this whole deep dive. What if that guilt? What if it isn't actually yours?
What do you mean, not yours?
I mean, what if the feeling of being good has almost nothing to do with virtue and everything to do with, well, with fear?
That's a huge claim. We're taught our conscience is our moral compass. It's supposed to be the purest part of us.
That's what we're taught, yes. But the radical idea here is that what we call conscience is often just internalized social blackmail.
Blackmail.
A psychological surveillance system running inside your own head 24/7. And if you follow that logic, it means the most moral person in the room might just be the one who is the most thoroughly colonized.
Colonized. That's a strong word. Colonized by what? If it's not me, what's pulling the levers?
It's the superego. If we look at the psyche through this particular lens, it's not some temple of reason, it's a battlefield. And the superego is the voice of authority that you've swallowed whole.
The voice of authority. So, not my own voice.
Not at all. It doesn't speak for your soul. It speaks for your parents, your teachers, the culture, even the algorithm that feeds you moral outrage every morning. It just echoes one single ancient command. Don't desire too much, don't take up space.
Okay, so how did this internal cop get so powerful? I mean, historically, punishment was external, right?
Yeah.
It was physical. The gods strike you down, the king throws you in prison.
Absolutely. It was overt. It was public coercion. But that's incredibly inefficient for a large modern society. You can't have a priest watching every single person all the time. Civilization needed a quieter, more scalable solution.
So it couldn't get rid of punishment.
No. So it outsourced it.
To us.
Precisely. It taught each of us to become our own jailer. The whip moved from the hand of the priest to the whisper in your own mind. And the genius of it is that you punish yourself the moment you even think the forbidden thought, long before you could ever act on it.
That's terrifyingly efficient, but what's the actual mechanism? How do you swallow an entire authority figure like that?
The term for it is introjection. You literally take an external rule and digest it until it feels like your own internal truth. It's not just obedience anymore, it becomes belief.
Can you give a really clear modern example of that so you can really feel how that architecture gets built?
Sure. Think about work culture. Your boss expects you to answer emails at 10 p.m. At first, you do it because you have to, right? To keep your job. That's external pressure.
Right.
But after months of this, you start to feel anxious, even guilty, if you don't check your phone before bed. You start to believe that being available 24/7 is what makes a dedicated person.
So the external rule from your boss has become an internal moral standard.
Exactly. You've interjected it. You now punish yourself on your boss's behalf. That's how obligation is manufactured.
Okay, so let's zoom out. Why does civilization even need this? What's the grand bargain here?
Well, this is where we get into the framework of, say, civilization and its discontents. Civilization is a compromise. It's fragile. We agree to surrender our raw, primal freedoms.
Our instincts.
Our instincts, yes. And in return, we get safety, order, a sense of belonging.
And the currency for this deal is desire. We have to give up some of our desires. But which ones specifically? What's so dangerous?
There are two great forces that civilization is terrified of. First, there's eros, the life instinct. That's not just sex, it's connection, creation, the drive to build things up.
And the second?
Thanatos, the death instinct. The drive towards aggression, destruction, the urge to just undo everything, to go back to zero.
The eros I get. But Thanatos, the death drive. That sounds very abstract. What does that actually look like in a person?
It's pure, unfiltered rage. It's sadism. It's that moment of self-sabotage that makes no logical sense. The impulse to smash something beautiful just to watch it break. If we all acted on those aggressive urges whenever we felt frustrated, well, society would just collapse instantly.
So the deal is, we have to repress these drives. We have to internalize the prohibition.
We have to. You learn to redirect eros, your life force, into your career, into family. You channel thanatos, your aggression, into, say, competitive sports or a fierce business negotiation. The reward is you get to belong. But the price is shame. You feel guilty now for just thinking a forbidden thought.
And that guilt, that's the superego at work, and it's the aggression that we're not allowed to aim outward, so it gets turned back on ourselves.
That is exactly what it is. The superego is your own aggression, weaponized against you.
This is where it gets really interesting for today. Let's talk about the modern forms of this moral blackmail. It's not just the church anymore. It's so much more subtle. Where do you see it?
Oh, it's woven into everything. Look at family relationships. The parent who says, "After all I've done for you."
Oof, yes.
That phrase isn't an expression of love. It's manufacturing a debt, an unrepayable emotional debt that translates directly into guilt and control.
Or in activism. The constant escalating moral demands.
Perfect example, the idea that if you're not outraged 24/7, you're complicit. The bar is set so impossibly high that you are always failing, always guilty. You can never, ever do enough.
And the workplace is a huge one. Praising selflessness and dedication.
Which is just a way to exploit labor, because taking a vacation or setting a boundary is framed as a moral failing, a lack of commitment.
It even manages desire itself. We think we're so liberated now, but really,
we're not. Sex, for instance, isn't forbidden anymore.
Yeah.
It's managed, it's commodified, it's medicalized, it's moralized. Shame still clings to any desire that doesn't fit the script, you know? Monogamy, productivity, whatever it is. The goal isn't pleasure. The goal is control.
And that redirection of energy, like an artist who paints instead of acting on some wild impulse, that's called sublimation.
Right, and sublimation is what makes culture possible. But the key thing is, the repressed energy never just disappears. It always comes back, usually in a distorted form.
How so?
Think about it. A deeply repressed, puritanical culture often gives birth to the most hypersexualized, image-obsessed consumer society. The desire just erupts somewhere else. It comes out as addiction or anxiety or moral panic about what your neighbors are doing.
And what about aggression? How does the system make sure that our destructive side stays completely locked down?
Well, this is the most brilliant trick of all. You turn it inward. The superego takes all your rage at the world, at the system, and aims it squarely at yourself. So instead of lashing out, you self-flagellate.
So when you fail at something,
you don't blame the system or bad luck. You blame yourself. It becomes a moral deficiency. You think, I'm lazy, I'm not disciplined enough, I'm just not good enough.
You're punished not just for breaking the rules, but for not being perfect at following them.
You are punished for the very effort of being human. That is moral blackmail in its most sophisticated form, a constant internal debt.
Okay, so what does this mean for us right now? We're all obsessed with self-improvement, with optimizing our lives, being our best selves. Where does that fit in?
Today's command to be your best self is often just the superego in a new outfit. It whispers, you must constantly work on yourself or you are failing morally.
The pressure is just relentless.
It is. Rest becomes a source of guilt. Doing nothing becomes a sin. We're exchanging the messy, contradictory reality of being human for the clean, simple illusion of being good.
And that creates a horrible paradox. The more freedom we think we have to choose our job, our identity, the more crushing the internalized guilt becomes.
Precisely. Which leads to a really disturbing question. What if civilization isn't the cure for our suffering? What if it's the most sophisticated symptom of it? We trade our authentic, messy desires for conformity, and we call that pain virtue.
And you can feel the symptoms of that trade-off everywhere. This is where it all connects back to you listening to this.
Absolutely. That free-floating anxiety you feel, it's the echo of every no you swallowed when you wanted to say yes, or every yes you said when you wanted to say no. Burnout isn't just about working too hard. It's the exhaustion of performing an impossible ideal of goodness, day in and day out.
And the loneliness a lot of people feel.
It's the loneliness of self-alienation, of hiding your true desires because you're afraid they're too much or wrong. We've confused obedience with integrity.
So if a real morality can't be based on this, this fear, this internalized list of don'ts, then what would it even look like? How do you find it?
It has to be wrestled from the depths. It's not handed to you. It has to be grounded not in thou shalt not, but in honesty, in accepting your own contradictions, and in a responsibility that you freely choose. And that means you have to silence that inner judge just for a moment to hear what your own voice actually sounds like.
Which is terrifying.
Yeah?
Because you might not like what it has to say. So, to wrap this up, we've taken this deep dive into the idea that our moral architecture, the very thing we think makes us good, might be the source of our deepest pain, the pain of being a stranger to ourselves.
And that leaves us with one final provocative thought for you to take with you. If your conscience is just a high-fidelity recording of every no the world has ever spoken to you, then who are you when you finally stop the recording?
Sit with that silence for a moment, because in that space between the command you inherited,
Yeah.
the choice you have to make, maybe the only question that matters finally emerges. What would I do if I weren't afraid of being bad?